that possible or not? There we go. All righty, this is my family. My son's on deck of the fishing vessel Surrender, and there's a roll. No action. Okay. Thank you, Congressman DeFazio and Chairwoman Napolitano, for giving me the opportunity to be here this morning to testify on behalf of Bristol Bay's 8,000 commercial fishermen, including my 3 sons. One of them is behind me here. He came here on his own dime here today. My name and my other sons are Blake and Bryce, and Grant is behind me. My name is Mark Niver. I live in Wasilla, Alaska. I have fished in Bristol Bay since 1980, and I'm here because I am deeply concerned about the proposed Pebble Mine and the discreditable permitting process currently underway. I've lived in Alaska since 1977, and I'm newly retired from Prudhoe Bay oil field, where I worked as a plant operator for BP for 42 years. I supplemented my oil job by commercial fishing in Bristol Bay with my father and 3 brothers. After fishing with them for a few seasons, I decided this fishery was what I wanted to invest in and bought my own fishing boat and permit. Commercial fishing in Bristol Bay is not easy, and it requires a substantial amount of financial investment. Today, a drift permit costs around $185,000. A fishing boat costs around $250,000. While this is an initial investment is daunting, it is one worth making thanks to Bristol Bay's strong runs and high market price. This fishing season, my boat alone made $650,000. That's a lot of money. For me and many others, fishing in Bristol Bay is a family endeavor with multiple generations fishing together. I raised my 3 boys on my fishing boat, and they have chosen to continue fishing in Bristol Bay as adults. In addition, they run their own seafood company marketing the salmon that we catch back in the Midwest area. Bristol Bay's salmon fishery allows them to make a good living and is a job that they are proud of. As their father, I'm proud to know that they will continue fishing after my time is over, and perhaps their future children and their grandchildren will do the same. There are thousands of similar stories in Bristol Bay. Bristol Bay's commercial fishermen are just one link to the chain, though. Bristol Bay's salmon fishery employs more than 14,000, as Mr. DeFazio talked about earlier, people every summer, and creates more than $1.5 billion in the worldwide economic activity. We sell our catch to seafood processors, who then process and distribute Bristol Bay salmon to buyers and markets around the world. With the quality and value of Bristol Bay salmon increasing, its global value will only increase in time. Relative to other salmon fisheries in Bristol Bay is unmatched in its sustainability and productivity. In 2018, we harvested over 43 million salmon. Bristol Bay produces half of the world's sockeye salmon. Bristol Bay's commercial salmon fishery continues to thrive thanks to its pristine, undeveloped freshwater habitat and Alaska's science-based fishery management. Despite all this, Bristol Bay is one of the most endangered fisheries. For over a decade, the proposed Pebble Mine has cast a shadow of uncertainty over my livelihood and my family's future. Nowhere in the world has a mine of this type and size been located in a place as ecologically sensitive and pristine as Bristol Bay. As Ted Stevens once said, wrong mine, wrong place. Bristol Bay's fishermen have taken precious time away from fishing to submit comments to the Army Corps during both the scoping and draft EIS comment periods. However, the Army Corps has yet to address our concerns and questions. I have no confidence in this permitting process and that the Army Corps will factor in our concerns. We have one shot at doing this permitting process right. It should be testing Pebble's assumptions and promises, not taking Pebble at its word. I have been fighting to save my sons and my livelihoods from the Pebble Mine for over a decade, and will continue to do so, along with the Lannon next door to me here, until Bristol Bay is protected. I'm increasingly concerned that my efforts and those of my fellow fishermen won't be enough. The permitting process is a runaway train paving the way for the Army Corps to rubber stamp the Pebble Mine. That is why I've traveled here, along with my son, to ask for your help and leadership. I understand there are very important things before Congress at this moment. However, our federal agencies have chosen to ignore Bristol Bay's fishermen and science that shows salmon and the Pebble Mine cannot coexist. I urge you to do anything and everything to stop this flawed process. We are running out of time. There is too much at stake to punt this issue. The facts are clear, and it's time for this project to put its fishermen and business in jeopardy to be stopped. Alaska, the state of Alaska is its people. The people of Alaska do not want this mine. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir.